Hello and welcome to Click Brand and Beyond podcast. I'm Anup Kurup.
And I'm Nisha Prakash.
At Click Brand and Beyond, we break down marketing and brand building into easily digestible nuggets from business founders. We teach you how to use the latest technology and trends to grow your business. Let's get started. Hey Nisha. So before we press the recording button, we were on a roll talking about, how content marketing gets much misused, abused, and how many scams happen because of that, and how a lot of businesses are kind of not ready to invest money because they are not sure where it is all going. And I think one of the problems I feel is there is no strategy behind any of this, right? It's all somebody comes up and says, I will do YouTube videos for you, or I'll create reels for you, I'll grow your Instagram account to 10,000 people in a month. And people are ready to spend money. And after 1 month, they're like, okay, I spent the money. There are 10,000 people sitting there, but I'm not getting any sales. Nothing is moving forward for me, right? As a business. If you're a content creator, then that's a different business model, something which we will discuss at some other point. But since our target is small businesses, small to medium sized businesses, they are interested in sales. And I feel there's a very big disconnect between content marketing and sales, the end goal. There is a challenge. How do you connect your business goals with that reel you have put up, or that LinkedIn post that you have made, or that 20 articles that you have given somebody to write? That's where the business mind, the mind of the founder, the company, management, starts to disconnect from this entire effort. And they say, this is useless. I don't see the benefit in the short term. I don't see it working. I can't measure it properly. And I feel it's a big disservice both to the business and the way people are presenting content marketing. What do you think?
No, very aptly put. It's a great observation, because currently, say for example, I'm working with a client who is a B2B, and they are very clear that they want good content on their A website and their LinkedIn, and that is it. There is no other touch point. We are very consistent, we are very clear with what we are going to publish, and we are putting great content out there, and they are very happy. In fact, the clients' feedback is their clients are also very happy because they see good content and they see and also the volume of that content is very low, just twice a week on LinkedIn, and that's all we do. The page looks good, the brand looks so much better, and of course the quality is high. The content quality is also very good because we are looking at the case studies, we are looking at testimonials, and we are looking at insights from their employees. We are building content with along with their HR team to attract potential employees, etc., etc. So there's a very clear direction, and it is a lot of fun. It is paying the dividend that we set for ourselves. We are touching all the matrix that we very carefully set, and ROI is in terms of how people are engaging with it, not in sales. That is
Okay,
the
what are the
biggest
metrics?
pain point.
What are the metrics for this particular, let's say, this particular project? So number one, the metric. Number two, how does see there is somebody in the business who's given you this mandate, right? But internally,
Yes.
how do they connect this effort and say this budget that we have put in here is justified?
Okay, so they wanted, okay, let me start from the beginning. They have grown exponentially. They are into digital social listening kind of business, and they have grown exponentially during COVID times. Now, their growth has not, they've grown, but the world does not know that they have grown. The world does not know how good their offerings are. That is what they want the world to know, and that is, it's as simple as that. They have a wonderful sales team who looks into the sales, so the sales is not an issue at all. But they want that when people check them out, it could be their potential employees, it could be their potential clients, or any other multiple stakeholders. If they check out their company profile on LinkedIn, it should look like a vibrant successful, happy company with a very high value on the culture within the organization. And this is what we are trying to capture. We are working on their case studies, which is all the amazing work that they're doing with diverse within their diverse portfolios. We are looking at how happy their own employees are with all the events that happens or all the efforts that they are making into R&R of their employees. We are looking into client testimonial if they can get one, if and we are also looking at the entire journey of last 10 to 12 years that the company has been into. So we are building this content around what that company really is, what is the vision of that company, and what is the culture of that company. How are they going where they want to go? So that is the mandate. And of course the consistency is there, and all the quantity is not there. They don't want us to post every 5 days in a week. They just want to do 2 posts in a week, and that's all they want. But they want very high quality content. And it's a pleasure because what I have also learned with them is that we have to be very intentional and clear with the content that we are producing. Who are we saying this to, and why are we saying this, and what do we want to achieve? For them, what they want to achieve is, if it's a content about their employees, they want to see employee engagement. If it's a content about their clients, they want the world around them, whoever is in their universe, to respond to that. And if it is a company information, or if they are producing educational content, then they want their employees and their clients and everybody else who is in the same or similar industry to respond. And they get good responses because, again, the content is highly well researched, authentic, and high value.
Interesting, right? Again, I mean, it's not an early stage company. It's not somebody who's just starting their journey. So they are doing a wonderful job of sales. And now the content, the platforms they are using, like LinkedIn, is most for employee engagement, to build a positivity around the brand, the narrative. They want to control the narrative at some level, right? That is very important part of the brand com, as they call it, right? The experience there. But it's very interesting that this whole thing about content marketing, which was started way back by HubSpot was primarily responsible for something called as inbound marketing, right? That term now is
Yes.
out of fashion, but that's when it started. And you won't believe, when HubSpot started, they say everybody should do content, everybody should write articles, etc., etc. And one of the pushback people had was, but if everybody is writing articles, if everybody is going to write content, there's going to be a split in the audience, and nobody is going to read what you're writing any which way. You're right in the sense that it is the challenge to have somebody's attention, right? That is the most um, precious commodity today we have, right? Not time, attention. Right? People have time. They can watch 3 hours, 5 hours of Netflix, but getting somebody to watch what you have put down, read what you have put down, is fairly difficult. And it is difficult not because, again, right, not because what you're writing is not educational, informative, but there are better things. So it's an attention issue that we are trying to solve for at some level, at the bottom most rung of this entire marketing, let's say the tactical strategic, building that we built, right? From the top floor of strategy to the bottom floor of execution, what we are trying to grab is attention at the end of the day, and maintain that attention over a long period of time. So yes, I agree, content matters. Targeting the right audience matters. So if you are targeting the employees, yes, they want to feel proud that the company they are working for is so nice, so good, so creative, etc. The investors want to have the feel that, yes, there is some activity that is happening, and positive activity that is happening. At the same time, there's always this intention, right? Can we get more people interested in what we are doing? Can we generate more leads? Can we simplify sales? Can we make it faster, better, cheaper? That's, of course, every business wants to do that. Now, with this many expectations that come out of content marketing, it becomes very difficult to tell a business, if you stick with us, you know, this is going to become a lead engine for you over a period of time. This is going to become an employment engine for you, right? People are going to apply through content channels over a period of time. It becomes very tricky to lay that down, right? So I usually do something, um, which is, I kind of take the customer journey map, right? How does the customer discover you, to them becoming a customer, purchasing something, and to them being retained as an advocate of the company, right? They love you, therefore they talk about you. This is a customer journey map. And it's, if you Google for a customer journey map, you will see some beautiful graphics, how people kind of represent from A to B to C, how they kind of purchase and all that. Now I marry this, I combine this with, at every stage of the customer journey, what type of content makes sense. And that's something people miss a lot, right? They think that just putting reels out there, or just putting um, something like LinkedIn posts out there is going to work. No, it's a mix. And it could be one platform alone, it could be just LinkedIn for that matter, right? But the type of content, for example, somebody who's an unknown, then you need to start talking about the problems they face. Somebody who is willing to purchase probably needs to see demos, maybe, LinkedIn live webinars where you're showing how this is going to benefit them. Somebody who is, let's say, already a customer, maybe wants to attend advanced sessions of how they can use your product or services. So the same platform may host different type of content, may host different angles at which the content is delivered. So you're talking about problem statements, then you're probably talking about how painful that is, then you're talking about solutions. So every single piece of content, every single type of content, every single angle you take in the content, the topics you take matter, because they attract the attention of different type of audience. The surface level content, and I'm not trivializing the surface level content, it is also called top of the funnel content, is important. Why
Hmm.
is it important? It's interestingly important because it is not talking to your company, it is talking to the audience and their aspirations and their problem statements and their troubles and their interests. And you're trying to treat those people like human beings. You have to treat them like human beings, and I'll talk about that a little later. But then, Nisha, when you think of content, right, how do you align yourself with what the customer is trying to get done? Not your customer, the customer's customer.
You know, as you say this, I was thinking on exactly the same lines, because your closing statement that the companies need to talk to the customers. They just can't keep on talking about themselves, and it's a golden nugget. Most of the companies make a mistake of talking about themselves or their products or their services all the time, instead of talking about the problem that the customer is facing or the thing that customer wants to have, and how are they solving that problem. And I think that is where lies the key, like that is where lies the differentiation between a meh content and a successful content. A very small example, we're working for a D2C company right now, and this particular company is selling groceries and fruits on B2B level and as well as D2C. And their D2C is only, it's actually limited to Delhi and NCR area, whereas for their B2B they are covering pan India. So we have a mandate of making two different kind of two different categories of content for two different customer category. The D2C is a very difficult one to crack because it requires lot more content. It requires the numbers of the numbers of content that we have to publish in a week is much higher, whereas the results are lower. And for a simple reason, for a very long time, the founders would keep on messing up with what are we going to say, and they would keep on talking about the benefit of their product or how good it is or how they are sourcing it, blah blah blah, because they were just talking about themselves. And then I said, after 1 or 2 months, and I would try to make presentations on how we should do it differently. And they would keep on coming back to, no, let's just do this. Let's tell them ki, we have done this, or we have, we went there to source something and we want to talk about that. And then I said, nobody really cares about where you went, because it's not solved. They are not really concerned. They have a problem of procuring, let's say for example, an organic apple, and if you're getting it for them, that is what they want to know. How much trouble did you take to get that? They're not interested. But what they want to hear is, this is a problem, they may not be aware of it, but this is what they want, and this is something that you've got for them. And then I also realized, my learning was that for certain categories such as food or fashion, because it's a land of plenty and abundance, and there is so much noise, it is very difficult to build the story, and it requires even more thought and more, like it requires a very deep level of strategic thinking to be able to build that narrative. And that is one difference, and that is one challenge which I think most of the businesses or the founders are facing right now. The quality of content, the number, formats could be multiple, the platforms could be multiple, but the quality of content, the strategy behind that content, how to address the problem, and how are they solving it, I think therein lies the key.
So there is another school of thought, especially the top of the funnel content, right? Where your audience is just about coming to know you, or get in touch with you or your business, right? They are human beings. Let us say you mostly cater to people who are in the age group of 35 to 50, let us assume, right? Maybe young parents, or parents, um, certain type of lifestyle, etc., maybe living in metro and things. Okay, you have a definition. The school of thought that I'm talking about is they are human beings. Your product is just one of the things they purchase to solve a very tiny part of their life. Tiny part. Maybe it is that you sell clothing, type of clothing which is suitable for, let's say, summer wear or kids wear or something like that, or doesn't get dirty, whatever it could be, right? It solves very, very tiny part of the clothing problems that people face. Right? Even a fashion brand, for that matter, is solving for a very specific type of a problem where you are going out to a party, to a dinner, to a get together, and you want to wear something fashionable, something good, something within a certain price range. Maybe you want to stand out and you find a designer and go. But it's a very tiny part of their entire day. Maybe it's a half an hour in a month. You're not dominating their attention at all. The school of thought says that if you know your customers, then talk to them like human beings. Talk to them about everything, because you are a human being. You have a face there. You're putting a video out there. Then talk about the situation of getting up early to send kids to school. Maybe you as a parent face the same problem, and how do you deal with it? You maybe finding the right toys is a problem, right? You're not selling any of this, but you're building a relation. They get to know you as a person. They understand you, understand their life really well. Therefore, that connection builds. Therefore, when you sell something, when you tell them that, hey, you know what, one of the problems I face is dirty clothes. Kids go to school and their clothes get very dirty, and the loads of laundry that needs to be washed every single day is insane. That consumes such a lot of time. But I have a solution, right? And whatever that solution, suddenly they are able to relate to you as a human being. They know you face similar issues. They know you kind of understand all aspects of that particular life. And that school of thought is is powerful in the sense you don't need a very expensive setup to pull that off. You don't need models and actors, etc. You being an individual can pull that off. And a lot of creators today are exploring that side of content creation, and many of them are successful. That is a fun part of it, right? So when you see the mass following such narration building has, do you think we should change our approach for a business, because the business can now be associated with an individual?
That is absolutely true, Anu. This is such a such a vast topic, and it is almost like diving into the ocean and every time coming back with one kind of nugget or gold nugget, or a pearl of wisdom.
I said, top of the funnel content and how people, I mean, building narrative around a person. I mean, business can also be built around a person, right? And a holistic approach to creating content about the persona itself rather than just trying to deal with the product or the business.
So that is a wonderful point, Anub, because I see a lot of brands, and especially on Instagram, around a marketplace or fashion or food, even traveling for that matter. They are building their brand and they are building content around the persona and running a successful business. I personally know a few young entrepreneurs or a single entrepreneur, solo entrepreneurs, mompreneurs as we call them, building very successful brand and building a six-figure business just out of amazing content that they produce. There are media companies who started producing content, they just started publishing blogs about random things, thoughts, their insights about events and happenings in news and culture, design, fashion, whatnot. And they have been able to build a wonderful media company, got funded just by the power of right kind of content and the consistency, the discipline of building this kind of content. So it's a powerful tool, and all the platforms are also rewarding it. Algorithms reward them so well. But the biggest challenge that I see, one of the challenges that I see is they do not understand they do not have a good feedback mechanism, and sometimes they are not able to respond to the feedback in the timely manner or the timely fashion. So what could they do? What do you think they could do apart from everything else that they do on a regular basis, which is a traditional wisdom, damage control, whatnot? But what are the other things that they can bring to their feedback mechanism to understand and better their content?
See, again, right? Um, Social media is media, and I'll keep repeating it over and over again, because everything that we do, we have seen, and I've seen this market change over the past 14, 15 years in marketing. I mean, everything became digital. Okay, digital is great. Then social selling and all that. But the fact is, people don't engage anymore until unless you put something very provocative or political or religious, etc. There's no engagement, and people are hunting for engagement on various platforms. When you put bland content on online, which is a business oriented content, nobody engages with it. That's why people are looking for content they can learn from, they can appreciate, they can get entertained by. And these are the things that really work. So what can people do to improve? Look at the engagement in terms of how many people are viewing it, how many people are liking it, how many people, what type of demography is watching it. For example, you start putting out some reels or some YouTube videos, and you see that 18 to 25-year-old are mostly watching it because they are online more often than not. But your target market is, let's say, 35 to 45-year-olds, right? And they are not watching your content at all. Then you have to change what type of topics you are choosing. Maybe you have to change the tonality. Maybe you have to change how you put yourself. If you are if the person on screen is very very young or young looking, and they are talking about middle age issues, that doesn't resonate well, right? So you probably have to bring in somebody who can become the face of the brand and talk to the person, talk about the problems, talk about the anxieties, talk about the pain points, talk about the life goals, ambitions, fears, etc., that your target market has, that your persona has. And if you see an uptick in the right demography consuming your media, consuming your content, you're on the right track. Don't have to overthink it, because anyway, this takes time. This will take you 3 to 6 to 8 to 10 months to get anywhere with it. So you have to experiment, you have to keep tweaking. But experiment doesn't mean that do, let's just say, a dance video on one day and then do an interview video on the second day. No, it just breaks the expectation. You have to set the right expectation that this is going to be a fun interview format all the time. But the topics you select keep changing, right? Keep driving you in the right direction. So the experiments have to be measured to take you in the right direction. Experiments cannot be breaking expectations of your target audience. I will end this entire discussion with saying that focus on your target audience. Ensure they are consuming what you're putting out there. If they are not, course correct to put things out that they appreciate. That's all.
That is a wonderful take on this, on the discussion that we are having, Anup. And but my only challenge is that a lot of content focuses on awareness, but aware and attention. But attention is the scarcest commodity right now. There is so much noise. Everybody is doing the same thing, and the challenge again here is to stand apart from the crowd, stand out from everything else that competition is doing. So it's great that everything is about the customer, but the customer is also spoiled for choices, and the top of the funnel content is becoming harder and harder to be discovered on social media platforms. But that is a topic for another day, and that is, we just kind of keep on making, we have to make it our goal to, consistently reinforce that content isn't just traffic or click or downloads, but it is a highly effective driver of our message, and helps, if done well, can help us build a very healthy pipeline and leads.
Looking forward to that episode. I have the answer for it, by the way. You know,
I know you do, you
discoverability
always
and
do.
discoverability and why is it that your content efforts are failing? But that's for another day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nisha.
Thank you, Anu. And that is it for this episode. I'm Nisha Prakash. You can find me at LinkedIn and my website nishaprakash.com.
And I'm Anup Kurup. You can find me at LinkedIn and my website, anupkurup.com. We will see you in the next exciting episode of Click and